It's a great guitar.
You know what I love about it? Oh wait, I'll shut up until we're.
Right, no, that's bad.
No, you should be.
Are we live, bro?
We are.
Let's do it, man.
Hi. What's up, dude? How you doing? Homeschoolers, another episode of the Gruhn's Roundtable. What's it officially called?
Homeskoolin at Gruhn?
Goes to Gruhn's. Usual cast of characters. Corey Terrell, no relation to Tammy. Ebo.
No relation to Ebo.
Is anybody, homeschoolers probably don't know Ebo's real name. Eric
Borash.
Borash.
Yes.
So that's where the Ebo came from.
Ebo.
Yeah.
How old were you when people started calling you Ebo?
I think it kind of happened on that tour we were on and whatever with Fogarty.
Oh God, no, they were calling you Ebo long before that.
Were they?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It didn't go back to like childhood or high school or
okay.
anything.
What about you? What's your nickname?
Red.
Greg Boros.
His
What's
nickname
going on,
is
Greg
Red. If you've been
Boros.
watching, you know his nickname's
I was
Red.
just telling
Yeah.
I was just saying when I was little, my nickname was Spike.
Yeah.
Did you have a nickname when you were little? Anybody?
Not as little, but interesting enough, that's the way I separate my friends from New York and my new friends in the latter half of my life.
Oh yeah.
Is that all my friends from New York, they know me as Red.
Red?
Big Red, everything having to do with that. And
Because
my last name
your last name is
Voros. Yeah, Greg
Voros.
Voros. Voros, it means the color red
The color red.
in Hungarian. So if you would drink like a red wine, it would be Vörös bor.
Wow.
It would be. Vörös is very specific in a more of a burgundy or a dark red color. I guess a maroon.
Yeah.
Because there's a Hungarian word for red, which is piros, which is usually bright.
Right.
Vörös is the darker. That's why you would call red wine Vörös bor.
Yeah.
That's my father's nickname was Piros,
Yeah.
which is a play on words to not call him Vörös, which is just a different shade of red.
We got heavy duty running the camera. What's up, boss? How you doing?
How's it going,
How you doing?
fellas?
Thanks for doing it. If your arms get tired, if they're gonna.
Oh, they will. That's
It
fine.
sucks holding the camera. I've got to be out of here by 3, so we won't make this too long. We're gonna cover all kind of Honduran hog. That's the new word for it. Honduran hog. We got a vast collection of P90 equipped Kalamazoo tone monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start. I have a little concept of how to start this video. This happened last night, and it really made me laugh. My sweet 10-year-old son Marshall is getting pretty good on the guitar, and he's got an amazing ear. God, he loves this song "Fortunate Son" by CCR. Because he loves war movies, and you know how they always play that song.
They
Any
always play
Vietnam
CCR.
movie. Well, every time Fortunate Son comes on, he's just like, "Fuck yeah!"
Oh, that's
He
awesome.
loves it. Yeah. So he was talking about it last night. I go, "Man, I can show you how to play that." And he goes, "Yeah, show me." I'm sitting on my bed in the room, and he's got his little guitar there, and I know that I played with Fogarty back in 2000. Ebo was with me, and we never did that song.
Yeah, you did.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Did we?
Yes. Absolutely.
I do not remember playing that.
That was a
song.
big closing number.
It was.
Yeah.
Why did you say what you said?
I just
Why?
thought we never played.
It was
I
a
don't
song
remember.
that was
Oh yeah. No, you totally
did.
played that
We
one.
did.
There was a
Okay.
lot of. It always stuck with me on that tour because I remember in rehearsals you had the big list.
My man.
Had the big list, and then you're having to edit it
Special
down.
delivery.
Special
Thanks,
delivery.
brother.
There it
Sorry
is.
to interrupt you, Ebo.
It's all right.
Julio Pino from
Julio,
the
you were the
Gruhn
man.
repair shop.
Thank you.
The master upstairs, one of the masters. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
Yes. Hey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, guys. Enjoy.
So,
I remember trying to whittle it down to like a
Okay.
60-minute set, and
Okay.
it's like you got to cut, songs that would be anybody else's greatest hits.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
how can you not play that one?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that was tough.
Okay, well, I'm
But
assuming.
yeah, you guys did do that one.
I'm
for
assuming the song's in the Kid G on the record, but John was known. A lot of it
Yes,
was
he
tuned
was
down the whole
dropped.
step. So he's playing out of key of A,
Yes.
which makes sense when he goes bah, bah, bah,
Yes.
down to the G. So I showed it to Marshall, but I'm playing it regular tuning. So I went, well, I'll get Marshall. It's in the key of G, and I go like this. I go, right? Right, I played that, right?
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Does that sound right to you?
There was a note that was
No.
goofy
What
there,
note? What note's from?
before you did the dang.
Okay, here you go.
It's the last part of that lick. I think that's right. That one.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So I just was playing it by memory. I haven't studied it, and he goes, "That's not right, Dad." And I go, "What do you mean it's not right?" And I go, "He goes, get the record." He goes, "It's that fourth one. It goes." And it actually sounds like he's hammering on the record if you listen closely. That's what it sounds like. And then he slides this one.
That's it.
Yeah. Right. But I just saw he just went all the way down. And Marshall was like, "No, that ain't it."
And you
so
played that
amazing.
song.
Goes out
And you
the
played
record.
that song with Dude Live.
Yeah.
I always thought it went this way.
No. He played it wrong
He played it
with
wrong.
the guy.
Well,
He never looked over when I
Well, to be,
Well, no. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
tell him,
Tom,
yeah.
Tom's part was.
Yeah, that's what I would have. Because any song that had any kind of memorable lick, John played it.
Is that right?
Yeah, oh yeah, you would. All I did all night long on that gig was go like this. That's all I did. While he was going, all that shit, and then he was very picky about it. The way he played everything. So like, Bad Moon Rising.
Yep.
Is obviously the key of D, and any bar band would be. But that is not how he plays it. He tunes the guitar down a whole step, so it's the whole guitar down, and he goes. Real hillbilly cowboy.
But you know what? It sounds better. I mean, it sounds
Yeah,
right.
it does.
It does sound
Yeah,
right.
it does. But and there was a couple other ones he did in Holston.
Oh, shit.
There was
Yeah. Up around the bend.
Up around the bend.
Yeah, that was a whole step down.
Should we tell them about the time in Amsterdam? No, let's not. Let's
Let's tell from your perspective where you
Well, that
did the
was a little-
sensible thing and
yeah.
shook your head and turned around and went back to the hotel instead of staying in that.
Did the sensible
place.
It was a sensible thing. So, Corey, sweet Corey, had a concept that we could discuss some of these guitars. Not to get to business.
No, I figure
Right.
why not, man?
I mean,
how
why
cool
not,
are
right?
these fucking guitars,
They're
man?
really fucking cool.
Couple of 56s.
Yeah,
I mean that double cut is
yeah,
probably one of the nicest ones I've ever seen.
yeah.
And then this just came in, this TV.
TV special.
Let me ask you guys something.
TV special.
Oh yeah. For a long time, you never saw. I mean, back in the day, you saw folks using them, but
Yeah.
then P90s, juniors, specials, they kind of went out.
Yeah,
went
they fell
style,
out
right?
of popularity.
Yeah, people stopped using them, and then for a long time, I thought it really went down because once you're working on guitars, you're in your own world. You're not thinking what it's like to be in the studio.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So automatically, I go straight to. This is not the most usable instrument in the world because of the bridge, which
Yeah.
you've solved.
Right.
You guys figured that out, and it's
Right.
brilliant in that way.
Right.
Well, now that we have that solved, it's still not fit for many occasions.
Right.
Is it because of the P90 is hard to control in a live setting in that way?
Two things holding the junior back. Well, first of all, it totally depends on what music you're playing.
Right.
If you're playing Billy Squier, that's what
That's
you want.
great. That's a great.
Right?
Mhm.
If you're playing
Great tool.
Mountain, you want that. If you're playing any raunchy rock and roll, it's great. If you're on a gig where you need to cover a lot of ground, terrible choice. You got
Cover
one
ground.
pickup. I would say that,
It seems like it's a great choice for like a three-piece
yeah,
where the guitar player sings because it
Yeah.
fills up.
totally.
You know.
Now, from
it's
my
raunchy,
from
like
my
you said.
life experience of playing 8 million gigs all across the world in every kind of venue, from stadiums to the worst bars, 4 out of 10 times you're set up, you're going to have controllable noise on the P90. Would you agree with this?
Yeah.
4 out of 10. 6 out of 10, you're going to be like, oh God, I can't even play this guitar tonight. Right? It's
Yeah,
about that.
I mean-
It's about the same in studios too.
There's always going to be some inherent. I think if your tech sucks, you're going to have a lot more.
Yeah, right.
Interesting.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
You seem to use that as an answer for a lot of things.
Yeah,
Well, because
Get a
it
better
is.
tech.
Yeah.
Because it is.
It is. No, I'm with you. And then the fact there's no neck pickup, of course, which a lot of players use a neck pickup to cover a lot of different grounds. I could never take a Les Paul Junior to a session as my only guitar and use it. I mean, I could do some damage with it, but it wouldn't be optimal.
Right.
But on the right song, it'd be great.
Let me ask you guys this. I don't know.
This is a far more usable instrument.
Right.
That's
Who do you think is the person that represented the junior? The P90?
Leslie West.
Leslie West. Yeah.
All right, there's a bunch.
Is
of,
there? Yeah,
there's
but
a
I
bunch.
would go with Leslie West too, because I just think what he.
Johnny Thunders.
Johnny Thunders.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not a huge fan, but I respect his success. Dude from Green Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all he ever played.
You know what, man?
Yeah,
You're right about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true,
I
man.
mean, he's
Yeah.
he's super. I mean, he even has his own
all he ever played.
Well, I kind of
junior model.
I
that Gibson
kind of
put
think
out.
that, in fact, I think the resurgence in their popularity, as far as I'm concerned, can kind of, I mean, they
Yeah.
almost became like the sound of punk.
Totally.
You know,
Yeah, true.
it's like the best guitar there is for that.
Yeah.
When Leslie West came out in that old
yeah.
grainy video,
Yeah.
doing Mississippi Queen
Oh,
with the
dude.
junior.
And he was.
It was the best.
Best.
It was the best. Like, I mean, it was,
Yeah.
for me, it was almost life changing.
Yeah.
You know, in that way. And then I actually was disappointed how Leslie West actually got better looking over the years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I actually liked him early when he
Oh,
came
yeah,
out.
that's
Really,
what
right?
teeth-
Just how
I love
badass
it.
was his playing?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude,
He
so
was
good.
because he just took that, like, the guitar was the extension of how raunchy
It's
the
so
shit
amazing.
was in his head.
So amazing. So
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, fantastic. And great tone for a junior. I
When
mean,
I was-
he got as much as he could out of it.
When I was working with Waddy Wachtel, making
Oh,
the
yeah.
Stevie Nicks record, we talked all kind of shit about all kind. He grew up in the same city as Leslie West, and he used to give Leslie guitar lessons.
No.
Waddy did. Yeah, this is all coming from Waddy. Do you know about that?
No.
He said, here's how it happened. Waddy said he was walking down the street past an apartment building, and he heard somebody playing guitar in the house terribly. And he went and knocked on the door, and the guy opened the door. It was Leslie West. He said, "You know, I can help you with that." That's what he said.
Oh my God, that's so
was-
good.
You did tell me
That
that.
was coming from Waddy. He told me whether it's true or not. That's what Waddy told me. Yeah, isn't that great? That's great. I can help you with that.
Hang on to this for a minute. All right.
You gotta be, don't be long,
Oh,
because you know,
well, this thing is a little hefty.
hefty. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we should put one of these in. You want to? I think one is
I
plugged in.
think you already did.
Let's
One
hear
is
that,
plugged
yeah.
in. This is well, Corey knows all the things though.
What year is it?
I don't know. That's why we need
It's on the
Corey.
tag, bro.
Oh, it's on the
56.
tag. It's 56.
56.
Yeah.
Can we agree
Let's hear it.
just on the fundamental baseline that 56 was the best year for these?
I would think so.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that love the double cuts. But
Double cuts are cool,
I
but they're
think
different.
They're different. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think these are cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If I had my choice, I would always go for the single cut. But
Yeah.
I've had a couple of great 59 TVs.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're quite
It's
nice.
almost like
This
a
one is gorgeous.
It's almost like
I'm
a
kinda thinking
different
about buying
animal.
it.
Yeah.
It's almost like a different animal.
Yeah.
You respect it so much differently because of the
Yeah.
neck and the construction of it
Yeah.
and how it flexes and moves. It plays differently.
I
You
wonder
can close your
why.
eyes and feel it.
Why do you think they went to double cut?
Maybe folks were actually doing more on the fingerboard or the fretboard, you know, moving
Mm.
further up.
Yeah.
It's a cutaway. I mean, it's, you know,
Is it the same cutaway on the bass side or treble side? Does it look the same?
I don't know. Like, let me ask you this question: have you ever played up top on a Les Paul, single cut Les Paul,
Yeah.
and said to yourself, "Man, if this top area wasn't in the way, I'd be able to really cook on it some more down here."
Me?
Because this is the only cutaway you need on the bottom. That's all
Do you think
need.
others would say that outside of you?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Because I mean, yeah.
It doesn't matter what's going on up there.
Got it.
Yeah. Let's see. Is the cutaway the same depth on a single cut as it is on a double cut? Is the treble cut?
No. it's
No, I
different.
don't think
It's slightly
so. I
different.
think it's
It's
a
different.
It's a
slightly
different. It's a different cut. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it is.
deeper on that.
It's deeper on the treble side. You see, it's a kind of.
It goes all the way up to the 21st fret.
Yeah.
What does this do?
Horn's a little longer over here.
Oh yeah, big difference.
Yeah.
There's a lot more wood on this one. I never noticed that. Yeah, that's how little I actually look at these things. Big difference. So you got a lot more access on this one.
That's like finding out after 20 years in that your wife's eyes are brown. It's one of those. I've been looking at this for so long. No, of course I do that.
Of course I do that. Yeah, man, this is delicious. Tigers. Yeah. Okay, this is what, Corey? You always do the thing with the years. Good
So,
thing.
56.
Right. Okay. Consignment?
Yeah.
Oh man, chunky. Action's pretty high.
Kind of curious to see the comparison, because I think that, in my mind, that was the better.
You can almost hear that the action's high.
Yeah, you can.
You
Right?
can hear it.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can. Well,
you can
especially
hear
because I can't play. Now let's turn it down a little bit and see if it does that thing that they always do, where they get that acoustic guitar quality. Why does any other guitar do that? Why is it possible?
I'm not really sure.
It's amazing. They always do that. Used to great effect by Pete Townsend.
Oh,
Very.
Man, he was great at getting that acoustic guitar sound out of a turned down P90.
Yeah.
God. Live at Leeds loaded with that. Let's see how it scores in the sustain game. Alright, nice guitar. Let's play this one. See what it does. What's this, Corey?
56.
56. Why does it have different knobs, Corey? Let's get to that.
Somebody changed the knob.
Somebody changed the knob. Those are original. Yeah.
Those are them.
Those are changed.
What's on there?
Yeah.
Val.
So yeah, those are kind of newish.
Newer, yeah.
Newish.
Newish.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I just used a 22nd fret. You heard it. The part, this, no one ever plays this. Those frets, you don't even have to set those up. You don't have to worry about it.
You don't even crown those
Yeah,
frets.
you don't even crown those. The E and the A string and D string above 15 never get touched by any guitar player.
Wow.
Isn't that funny? No one does. No one would ever play that note on a guitar. It never
No.
gets. I probably have some guitars that I've never played that note on. I mean, seriously, think about that. All right, I know what I noticed about this guitar tonally. I'm gonna start with you guys. What do you notice compared to that one?
This one sounds super. It sounds like 390, super muddy.
Yeah,
Probably more so than that one.
lower output.
Lower output, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
I can hear the string slapping the frets when you whack an A chord on this one because the action's not
Mm-hmm.
up there.
Yeah. Sounds great, dark and chunky.
Real dark.
Yeah.
Let's go back down real quick. Let's make sure we weren't crazy when we heard that.
Pitch on this is a little more prominent.
Yeah, definitely brighter. All right, so now this is our great chance to settle debate whether double cuts sound different than
There you
single
go.
cuts. We can.
Yes, because this one sounds just like every double cut.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. It's also got a really cool looking bridge. What is that bridge?
That's the Music City Bridge.
Oh
You
man,
silly.
That's a good
That's the
looking
Music
bridge.
Silly
The
Bridge.
greatest
Oh,
gift.
and the action's better. Oh, and it's
I
in
want-
tune. That's
Yeah,
weird.
What do you know?
That's weird. It's in tune.
That's the
Oh, I
greatest
tuned it.
aftermarket gift that I think a classic designed instrument was able to receive so many years later.
Wow, dude.
That bridge made it so that these instruments that we have are actually usable.
Yeah.
Well, nobody's tuned this in a while. You can tell.
Well, there you go.
We'll figure it out.
Might have something to do with the bridge.
shit for you.
I think it's user error, but
Yeah, no, it's one of the greatest gifts, I think.
You tune my fifths. Vince Gill was talking about it the other day.
kind of.
He tunes with fourths and fifths. Like that. Plays better than all the other ones.
It sounds like it's the middle perfect between the other two that you just played. That one's a little too dark. That one's great, but this one's better.
Let's hear how it does the acoustic thing.
Yeah, that one does that better.
Get this one real close. This is hard to do, but once you get it, you'll never stop doing it. Joe Walsh thing is really hard too. You gotta mash your finger
That's
in
it, man.
both strings.
You know that mashing the strings, going up and going down.
Yes.
I think the first time I heard that and it fucked me up was in Red House. Hendrix did that on the beginning, and he comes in and pulls that down, and that way, dude. For years I listened to it. I was like, "What are you doing, man?" I couldn't get it. I just could never get that Red House lick, man.
Neck is straight as a fucking arrow. I would bring this action down even more because I love low action. But you know, you guys know I like it real low. I like it dead low. Let's put placement in. I first got that from, it's so satisfying. It kills your hand to do that, but it's so satisfying.
You know, on the bending thing, you gave me a tip. You gave me a tip like a couple of weeks ago, months ago. No, it wasn't a couple of months ago. And it was just one of those things that it actually really changed the way I
Put your fingers together.
No, that's early. That's cool. I make every mistake in the book. You're like, when you bend, do your wiggle at the end.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dude, what a great tip that was.
I did.
For me, I get excited about a bend, so I'm like bending it, even going all the way up to that point. You know, I'll get to it, and then I'll give it a good wiggle.
Yeah.
But it sounds, it's the most elegant when
It is.
bow, it's the note, and then you give that little vibrato.
Shake it off at the
Ooh,
end.
bro.
You give it the old It's like the old bull walking down instead of running down. There's a crazy thing that happens on guitars. We're right here. Look at this. the 22 frets is. If you don't have 22 frets, if you're playing a Fender, you can't play Money by Pink Floyd. Because he goes. You can't write on the Strat. That's a great lick.
So how did he do it?
I don't know.
Les Paul custom?
Did he play it on Les
Fret.
Paul?
No, man. I don't know.
I think he added a fret.
Did he really?
Pretty sure.
Is that right?
Pretty
He
sure.
had a fret.
Added a fret.
Really?
You can't play it on a Strat. I'm like,
There's no room.
what the hell would you play it on? I get it though,
I
yeah.
think he was playing. I think he was known to play in the studio a '54 custom.
Isn't this bit a P90 gold top?
I always thought it was.
I thought you were playing Rocky.
This is my fake echo. Check it out. Watch. I've worked on this for years. What?
You put your own delay in?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that is so good. Yeah, the first one you did.
Yeah. Let's dance. Let's dance.
Oh yeah. That's what I do. Oh man.
He randomly started doing that live. Every time you're like looking back and we're just cracking each other up.
Oh god, that's so good.
This is a great guitar. Holy shit. Okay, now let's try this bad boy. What's this?
It's
Corey?
light too.
Yeah.
What is this? Gibson?
There's a company that they had in the '50s called Gibson.
This guitar is awesome.
It's
This
low,
guitar needs
man.
to be set up, man.
Look at how low that is.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear that this thing, man, wants to wake up.
Oh, yeah.
With raising the pickup, dropping the action,
Oh, yeah.
this thing, wow.
Neck pickup. Check it out. Little sound. $150 away from being in tune.
That's right. That's right.
About as good as I can get it with this bridge.
I'll tell you this, you know, this one is obviously the winner here of the bunch as of right now. Yeah. That's fine.
30 cents
Yeah,
flat.
30. It's 30 cents flat. What I was gonna say was this, man, is right now this one shines pretty bright. You know, it's a
Yeah.
great guitar.
Mhm.
But something in my belly feels that that guitar right there hasn't been baked long enough in the repair shop.
Oh yeah,
And
no.
once we
this,
finish,
this is not ready.
and then once we get our hands on it to make it right, I think that's gonna be the beast.
It's a killer.
Yep.
It's a great guitar. Which one do you like the neck on, Ebo? Check them out. Give it the old neck test.
I think
that one?
This is
Yeah, I think
That's
I think
great.
double cut is
Double
all.
cut's the one.
I think he's all up in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my
Interesting.
pet peeves, or something I always look for on juniors, is because your dog ear here is just screwed to the body.
Yeah.
So your height, your
That's
pickup height
Very
is
dangerous.
pretty much
Right.
It is
dependent
what it
on the
is.
Yeah,
setup.
keep going, brother. Preach on.
Yeah.
Well, no, it is like
Yeah.
Preset.
Here, yeah.
It's
So
almost
here's check it out,
preset.
man.
see like this one.
Right.
Those aren't too bad. There are some juniors that you just can't.
Yeah. So
You can't get the strings
right.
anywhere near the pickup.
So check it out. I was just gonna
You know?
say that. Like one of the things that's interesting about P90 pickups is that it's just that like the screws that go in the pole pieces are magnetized. They go into a magnet themselves, so making that pole piece magnetized. I see sometimes folks bring the pole pieces up to an ungodly height.
Right.
The right fix for that is to take dog ear covers off and to actually make a shim, a full shim to go on the underside of the pickup
Yeah.
to bring
push
it
the
up
magnet
exactly where you need to go, and then dial in the pole pieces. I'm talking within a 30-second of one another to make it happen, but to do that in one shot, sometimes a bad guitar, or this guitar doesn't sound very good.
Right.
It could be that the pickup is a few 30 seconds away from the strings, and it could kill it. That's what I'm hearing on that.
Yeah.
It actually, as you're playing it, it sounds great, but it's almost like I almost want to just go over there, man, and loosen up those two screws to get that pickup coming back up.
Well,
and
and-
because you hear it lacking,
And put a new bridge on.
and a bridge.
For some reason, correct me if I'm wrong, but also my experience on anything with two P90s, like the neck pickup is always so much hotter than the bridge.
Yeah, it
Why
is.
is
You know.
Yeah, it is.
It's got to be a height thing because
Well, it's a height thing,
Yeah.
but it's also
You're right, though. You know.
it's also the amount of physical travel you've got on the string down here is tiny because it's so close to the bridge, whereas up here
so-
it's swinging around and disrupting the shit out of that magnetic field and creating a
Yeah, so the tension,
higher
the
voltage.
natural tension of the string is obviously going
That's it,
to
brother.
dictate, just like you're saying, this isn't vibrating like this is vibrating.
Yeah, I mean the pickup is you're disrupting a magnetic field.
Yeah, I agree with you
For
100%.
which is
materials.
interesting because the neck pickup is usually underwound by here too. Weird.
Yeah, but
You know,
you've
but
got
you hear
you've
it
got
that much more.
so
because
much
it
more
oscillates.
string
Yeah, it's
movement
crazy.
here
Yeah.
than you do here.
Yeah, bro, you're right.
Haven't you had problems on juniors where you can't get the pickup low enough? I've seen that more often than not, where there's not enough clearance to get the P90 in there. It's the pole pieces are fucking hitting against the strings. I've had that on plenty.
Yeah.
On
I don't-
juniors?
Yeah.
Really?
On those types of juniors, yeah.
Huh.
Bubba gave me a couple ideas along the way of how to fix that without routing the guitar. He's got Bubba, you know,
I admire
Our guy,
that.
Bubba. he knows how to fix all that shit. And,
Bubba's great.
He's great. He's actually the one that taught me early on that raising the pole pieces on a P90 is useless.
Smart man.
You
Yeah,
gotta,
you're
you
just
gotta
you're just
raise
yeah,
the
bro.
whole body of the pickup. It
Yeah.
doesn't
That's
do anything to
That's
raise
right.
the pole pieces. And
Yeah.
I've checked it out, and he's right.
Oh, he's absolutely one of my
Yeah.
biggest pet
Yeah.
peeves, and that's why I went
Yeah.
into it. The pole pieces
Yeah.
are magnetized,
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
well,
they're
it's-
threaded into a magnet.
right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
That's why they're different than Strat pickups.
That's right.
because
Same
they're
kind of idea with humbuckers. You know, humbuckers, you got your bar magnet on the bottom. Pole pieces that are on top are just magnetized.
The pole pieces should stick out of the bobbin, and in turn stick out of the magnet as you're going up. Really, to just go and to help with the radius of the instrument, you know.
Yeah.
And just to get it close, because you can have a flat, flat top pickups, and they pick up completely fine. It's not like you're gonna have issues string to string on a Stratocaster.
Right.
Some of those pole pieces aren't actually coming out even in the right spots where it's deceiving
Yeah.
in that way. So I don't think it has to really conform 100% to the radius, but it should flow with it, and you can hear that.
I tend to, on these, one thing I do tend to do is I tend to drop the G pole piece all the way down because inherently the G strings are so fucking loud on these.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'll drop that pole piece down and then adjust the others to balance it out.
Dude, that's a great
You
tip.
know what I'm saying?
I just learned that tip,
Yeah.
so it's really good.
On my
No, that's really cool.
1958 Les Paul, remember we were talking about that? Anyway, it says 19 before the year. Dead telltale sign that somebody knows shit about vintage guitars. 1958. When they put that
Definitely
in,
not 2058.
Yeah.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Man, dude, I love that. On my
You're right. You're so funny.
1964
1964 and a half Ford Mustang. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Dude.
That's awesome.
Man, I'm loving that J50 Homeskoolin, guys.
Awesome.
God, I love that guitar.
Man, that guitar messed me up a little bit, you know,
Oh.
and I would have not have picked that guitar up, you know, because
Yeah.
I played a bunch of them, especially with that colored pickguard on it.
Totally.
They're very,
Yeah.
and I remember when
It's
you
just a
picked it up and you were
run-of-the-mill.
hammering around, you were like, hey man, is this guitar, I don't know what you said, special or what?
Yeah.
And I remember I just grabbed the G chord on it
And
and it sounded like one note.
it's
Right.
in tune. The
I
whole
know.
chord
Dude.
is in tune.
It
on
was
that
it was
guitar.
this, and I couldn't hear the string separation between the chord. It was just like
Amazing. Amazing guitar.
Yeah,
I can't stop playing.
amazing
It's
guitar.
fucking
You're, and I
amazing.
like the nut width and that whole neck
You like
area.
that? You like that thinner
It's a
neck?
It
bad
feels
fucking
good,
guitar.
man.
I've had a million of those in my life, and I've always been kind of like whatever.
Yep.
They're fine. Never been blown away by one.
That one's great.
Right? They're good. You're like, yeah, it's great. 64. What else you got? It's all
Yeah,
you know.
no,
Yeah, it's
that
it's, you know,
guitar.
yeah, it's
Dude.
always But that guitar, man, it's in tune.
That
And
guitar
it
is a.
it just blows out sound, man.
That
Like,
guitar is like a songwriter
It
special.
is, dude.
That was the missing guitar.
Yeah.
That was, if you're a singer songwriter,
Yeah, dude.
if you compose music, you write
Yeah.
music. That's that guitar.
It's badass.
It's that guitar.
Lucky, man. Lucky to
Yeah.
find it. I mean, it was funny. It was just sitting there. I just looked at it and I was like, man, that looks cool. Picked it up. Wasn't expecting much. Played one chord on it. I was like, whoa.
Oh, I know, man.
We got it in a 56 G45.
I saw it. It's not as good. Sorry.
Like that. Yeah. That one's special. That one's special.
That's one of the better
It is a good
45s
one.
that I've,
It
that
is
I've
a good
heard.
one.
You've definitely got that
Yeah,
50
yeah.
is.
You know what's
Yeah,
crazy, man?
yeah,
Is,
yeah.
you know what's crazy? There's
I was
always
surprised
a.
nobody bought that.
You know what's
Why
crazy?
was that
There's
down there?
always a like a. You're awesome because when you find a guitar that does it
Yeah.
100%
Yeah.
for you. I remember this very clearly. You had your 61 or 62 Les Paul SG
Yeah.
Les Paul,
Yeah.
and you said this is the best one ever.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
sold you mine,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh, this is better."
It's even better.
Right.
It
So you're
was.
like, "Yeah, this is the one now."
Yeah.
So now the question is, will there be another one that comes up that beats the crap out
Of
of
course
that?
there will.
Yeah.
I
There
don't-
always is.
You've
Yeah.
known
There
him
always
for
is.
how long?
But when he
Yeah.
like your burst, you found your burst.
Yeah.
That's it, bro.
Well, you never know.
No,
People
you-
always ask me if I'm ever going to sell that guitar. I mean, I made a deal with the guy and got it from him. That he, if I ever sold it, I'd sell it back to him. But so far, I haven't seen one I like better.
Well, that's the burst killer.
It's the Burst
It's-
Killer.
you know,
yeah.
let's talk about that. Let's talk about
Well,
that.
We talked about that in the last one. Remember?
Oh, we brought.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's right.
Burst-
That's right. The
Craigslist ad.
the Craigslist ad.
Yeah,
That's right. But I'll tell you what, yours is like the cannibal, bro.
It's
Because
cool,
that
man.
that 58 is special. People could say, oh, 59's X, Y, and Z, neck
Right,
profiles,
yeah.
whatever it might be. That's cool, man. But when I hear one,
Yeah.
AB, that sounds as good as yours.
Yeah.
Oh
That thing's
man,
cool, man.
it's there, man.
Did you ever notice though that every burst owner
Yeah.
says that theirs is the
Mhm.
best?
Theirs is the best, man. This
Yeah,
is-
and
this
Because
is the
nobody's
best
gonna
version.
drop, half a mil on a guitar. And
They
go,
go, "I
yeah,
bought
it's
the
kind of a
shittiest
pig,
one."
but
Yeah.
It looks cool.
This is the shittiest
And,
burst. you
yeah,
will
I've
ever
got the
see.
shittiest burst.
We've talked about it a million times. It's like, for the fact that only 1,700 of those guitars were ever made, doesn't everybody seem to have one?
I know, bro.
God.
Well,
I know, man.
Sometimes only
two or
about
three.
10,000 of them survived, though,
Right.
which is
Only
crazy.
10,000 survived.
Yeah, so there's about
Yeah.
14,000 out there or so. All right. Yeah.
Well, they probably do have a higher than average survival
You think
rate.
so? Yeah.
Yeah.
because they were pricey at the time, and
Yeah.
and well, you know what's interesting is that bursts were you could still get a burst, a 59 burst in the summer of 89,
Yeah.
1989
Right.
for what, like 8 G's,
Yeah.
8,500 bucks.
I don't even know if they
No, that-
would have been that much.
That's
Yeah.
fact. I could have bought one in 1988 for $6,600.
$6,600.
That's how much it was.
And they're at 300, 400. Yeah. That's crazy. So it's kind of to add to what you were saying. That was the point I'm trying to say is
Who had the burst?
it's a quality instrument, but the price never realized that if they were worth so much money, like a D45 from birth, I could see them being mint.
Right.
But
Right.
the Les Paul Standard was never something that it's like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right. No shit.
There was a few cats that got it early just because it was they didn't care about the price. They appreciated the beauty and everything going in it.
And their favorite guitar player
Dude,
probably
Vic
played
DeCraw,
one.
all the Burst Brothers, all these cats, they didn't get in
No.
to the business. These guys are all passionate dudes that were into this when it was $5,000, and now that it's $250,000 or $500,000, that's great.
Elliot told me from Rumble told me that he started his entire business off of one Les Paul purchase.
Yeah.
He got lucky, scored a burst early for cheap, sold it, made a fortune, started his business.
Wow.
The whole thing started from one guitar. Isn't that cool?
That's a cool
That's
story.
wild.
Yeah.
That's really
That's
cool.
very cool.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. Heavy duty. Kind enough to sit back there and listen to all this. Any questions?
No, I think we're straight, man. I feel homeschooled.
That's the best line of the day.
Did you press play? Did you press record?
Oh, I haven't been recording this whole time.
Oh, you guys are ready?
Did you press record now?
It would be amazing if he was over there with us.
Dude, that would have been great.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
Oh my god.
The red light thing is on, right?
What?
How long is this video so far?
We're at 41 minutes.
Okay, you know what's gonna happen here in about 2 minutes.
What's that?
Dad's gonna.
Daddy's coming.
Dad's
Dad's
coming
coming
in?
home. Yeah, he should be walking in any minute now.
Is Dad's coming in?
Yeah.
What should we ask him?
What should we ask George?
Hmm.
Let's ask him. We're not gonna ask him about.
Not gonna ask him about how his morning started.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
Man, I would want to go something crazy. You know, like
I got
something. Let when
go,
we hang
you
with
go.
George here, let's ask George something. Not low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Like the way he gives out his curveballs, whatever.
Yeah.
I just let's give him one of those, but let's make it in the flat top world
Okay.
because that's his thing. If we could make it Martin's, that would be amazing.
Okay.
And something that only him and like Fred Oster or some of those cats would know.
Greg Hutton.
Greg Hutton. That's it. Greg Hutton. Like, just those 3 dudes or 5 dudes, something like that.
Let's ask him about the Renaissance body.
Let's do that. And you said Greek Hutton.
Mhm.
Great author, and he's
Awesome.
dynamite. What is it? And I asked him when he came in. I said, "Dude,
Fantastic guy.
what's up with his name? It's got an I in it. It's a Greg. No, it's not. It's Greek." What's up with that?
He told me he responds to Greg,
I know.
but it's spelled Greek.
I know. And I just thought that was amazing. I never met a Greek before.
Yeah.
Nice guy though, great
Super
author.
nice
All
guy.
right, let's.
I
I'm
mean,
just saying.
he was singular focus on that.
Yeah,
I
oh
mean,
yeah, brother.
That was a passion project.
A couple weeks ago, I was sitting out in the other room there with George and Vince Gill was sitting there, and Vince was in the corner laughing. We were having a blast, and I said, Vince, I go, check this out, and we made like a trick thing where I said to George, okay, I named some esoteric guitar and asked him what the body measurements were, and he completely nailed it
No.
by memory.
All right.
No, because he
Oh, I get it. Yeah,
and you know he could say the measurements of any guitar, like the body measurements. He knows them all by heart. It's freakish, right?
See, I've seen him do that on Martin's.
Oh, dude, no, he does all the gifts.
I've seen him do it with 335s, 350s.
Yeah, all the acoustics. Nick Lucas, you can ask him anything. He knows all the measurements. So from memory, which is pretty crazy.
Oh yeah.
Right. And Vince was sitting there, and I said to George, "All right, this is freakish." I said, "Is there any other person or people in the world that you think have as much knowledge about this
Great question.
as you do?" And he mentioned a couple names.
Good.
And the names were not names I'd ever even heard of.
Was it one of Fred Oster? Was he one of them?
I don't think that doesn't sound familiar,
He's up in Philly.
but it may have been. It may have been. Like who?
Like Matty Umanoff. I don't know if he got in that heavy. He was up in New York. For a
Matt's
minute.
pretty.
Matt's sharp, but Matt's no repair guy. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He dabbled with instruments like a music store
He
owner
was-
would. However, I've never read an article with regards to high level repairs by Matt Ewan.
I don't know if that was his thing.
No,
I think
no.
his thing was he had quality.
That's it.
He had quality shit. He had a cool shop. His shop moved at one point. Man, he had a fucking great shop,
I know.
man.
I
And
never
he
remember
was
that.
he was a
I never remember
good.
that. I never remember that.
And he was a real good dude.
He was a great dude. I remember having
Is he gone
having
now?
chats with
No.
he's still around.
You
I
know,
remember having chats.
Steve
with him.
Earle's good friends with Matty, and
You know Matt's George will tell you this. Matt's never been taken on a guitar. He's never been had on any guitar purchase
Really?
as a dealer.
Wow.
George tells that story. He laughs real hard. But yeah, Matt Ewanoff sets the record of like never being hosed in this industry,
Right.
even as a dealer for 50 plus
Which is
years.
impossible.
Right?
Incredible.
Has a possibility?
Yeah,
No way, bro.
yeah, totally.
You're gonna miss a switch tip here and there.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna miss a knob.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss a repro guard. You're gonna miss a
Mhm.
pickup, a rewound one. I've been working for 15, 20 years. The work that I've been doing circulates. I guarantee you miss some stuff, pal.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's a fact. I'm just saying.
Okay, have you ever had someone? This is great. Oh man, I can't believe I've never asked you this before.
Yeah.
Have you ever had someone come in with a guitar and say, "Oh man, this thing's all original. Nothing's ever been done
Of
to it."
course.
But you've actually done the
Yes.
work to the guitar.
Oh no.
Have you ever had that happen?
oh, that's a
No.
great
Yeah.
question, man.
No, but I had no.
That's a
However,
fantastic
That's
question.
funny.
However, okay, I have not had that
Okay.
personally. However, what I have had is people brag to me. See, like, I don't take, I never, it's not like a badge that I wear that I was able to do a broken peg head repair with touch up to a point where you can't tell it was done.
Under black light, no way.
I could do a pretty good job, you know, right?
Yeah.
But it's not something that you do.
Right.
It's something that you need to know how to do.
Right.
Once you know how to do it, you could spot blacklight phonies all over the place.
Okay.
But in order to be able to spot blacklight phonies, you have to be able to make it. And one of the greatest compliments that I can actually get is when I do a repair for somebody. It's not a good thing.
Right.
But then they say, "Oh man, I took it to the Sam Ash on,
No.
you know, in X store, whatever it might
Yeah.
be, and they
And
had
they
their top
blacklit it, they
guys
couldn't
out,
see
they
it.
had their repair guys, there was black lights floating everywhere, and they gave me top buck trade-in for that sucker." Well, you know what? That's a huge compliment to me. I'm not
Right.
doing it, bro. I don't approve of that crap.
Right.
But nevertheless, that is the ultimate pat on the back.
It is.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: if a guitar has a headstock repair,
Yeah.
and is virtually
Invisible.
invisible,
Mhm.
did it ever happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, does the guitar know?
Does
It's
the
not
guitar-
about the
no.
guitar.
No, we know. And
You know
once,
what I mean?
and once we know,
That, you know,
once we know, it affects the value because of the finite numbers
Yeah.
that are out there.
right?
Mhm.
So in order for us to say that top buck on a beautiful mint
Right.
ES 335 from 1959 is $85,000,
Right.
that's $85,000 because this one looks perfect, but because it has a broken peg head, it's 55. Repaired 65, whatever it might be, but a difference in price.
Yeah, but
That's the reason that 85 will be $100
Right.
more $1,000 in the future, because it shows that we're or people in this industry are actually looking at those things with regards to the fineness of the instrument, finiteness. Like
now
how
at the
they
same
go.
at the same token, a modern guitar, broken peg head,
Right.
Yeah.
fixed perfectly,
Right.
gives a shit.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
The resale values are already so poor
Yeah.
Exactly.
that it doesn't matter.
And nobody's looking at the resale value of that. Not the main. I mean, we are, because this is what we do for a living. We buy and sell these things.
Sure.
But even still, the price on a modern instrument that's been repaired has to reflect the repair.
That's right.
Agreed. Agreed. And that's very important. I think because of those rules that we put in place, it's kind of like the car analogy. You have a 64 and a half Mustang, and it's 99.9% mint. But what wound up happening was it had a little side ding from a shopping cart, right?
Mhm.
And then because of that, it couldn't get, I don't know how to repair cars, but that door was replaced
Mm-hmm.
with an original 64 and a half Mustang door. The only evidence is that the screws might not have paint on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now the question is,
Somebody
is
knows
worth
that's
that
been replaced.
is that worth as much money as something that left the factory in
No.
100% same condition as the one you're selling right now?
It
I
is
think
not.
there has to be a price difference,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
and that respects the latter more.
Have you ever been standing there with a guy who comes in with an instrument? Man, look at this, man! Totally original, man. Just bought this, and then you immediately see things that have been done to it, and you're like, dude, it had a Bigsby.
That probably happens all the time.
So what the
Those
biggest,
happen all the time.
and you
Yeah.
probably have a million, but the one that I could throw out there, it was actually a burst, and it was the owner was
Don't say it.
right. He's in the business, I should say, you know, and this was their personal guitar, and they made an appointment with me specifically for me to not only look over the instrument. I know a couple things about bursts, you know, so
Yeah.
to look over the instrument and do some wiring on it. He had some original caps he wanted to put on there, whatever it might be, and I remember this was probably the rudest thing that I've ever done, but I didn't even realize it. I thought he was almost messing with me, you know, and I remember it came out, met him in the car, came out, case came up on the table. I opened up the case lid, and I just went like this. I opened up it was a 59 burst. I was like, all right, let's check out this 59 burst. Lid came open, lid came closed, and I said, all right, brother, where's your burst, man? Just like that. And he goes, what? What do you mean? And I was like, dude, like, are you serious right now? It was one of those conversations, and what was obvious was everything.
Wow.
I mean, I could tell that the neck dimensions were wrong from 3 feet away. It's like
Right.
one of those things. I know what I'm supposed to be looking at, and it doesn't fit into my image of what that looks like.
Crazy.
So by the time I took it apart and looked at it, I think the valuation of that instrument was something like $15,000 in parts.
Right.
For that instrument to come in as an all original, for me to do some solder joint,
Right.
touch up things on a
Right.
couple of caps or whatever it
Well,
might be.
it wasn't even Gibson.
It was a Gibson. It was a Gibson. Re-necked, re
Right.
everything, so on
Right.
and so forth. And that was eye-opening for me
Yeah.
because, in many ways, it was eye-opening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had that, and then Corey can tell you stories till he's blue in the face
Yeah.
about people coming in. One of the
Blue
most
in the face
frustrating
right now.
things.
Well, it's because
One of
I have
the,
sleep apnea.
Dude,
and
one of the most
that story
frustrating-
put me to sleep,
So
and I
check
just
this
forgot to
out.
breathe.
this seems like one of those comments that's like the ender of the conversation, but it isn't.
Yeah.
And this is a problem. So check this out. This is something that you've seen a million times. Guitar comes in, goes up to the repair shop, goes on a bench. I write a green ticket for it. Not now, the guys, but in the past, I would write a green ticket for it, and I look at it, and I'd be like, all right, cool, bro, hey, listen, the bridge pickup was rewound, the tone knob is replaced, so is the pod itself, and the nut was cracked in half, glued, 1 fret replaced, you're good to go, bro. I mean, this is what it needs. And he goes back and tells the person who's an elder gentleman that has owned the instrument for 50, 60 years, fill in the blank, tons of folks.
Right.
And they would say, I've never done a damn thing to this, you know, since I bought it from a music store in the summer of 1960.
Right.
Somebody did something
Right.
to
Yeah,
it. They
well, then
replaced this with
Who'd
something
you lend
that
the
was,
guitar to?
yeah,
For
there's a
couple
part
of
on it that
years?
was made in the 1980s.
Right. Yeah.
Never been out of my hands. Maybe
Right.
you guys
You
don't
don't
know
you guys don't know what
you
you're
guys
talking
don't know
about.
what you're talking about.
You-
There's
All
one
right.
of those things you would think that's
But you
like,
can't defend that
Yeah.
to somebody because in their mind they are convinced
Yeah,
the
that's
guitar never left their house.
How did it happen? How did it happen?
Well, it usually, you've heard this before,
It's the
usually
kid.
after a certain
It's
time,
the son, it's the
Right.
cousin.
well,
It's
check it
the,
out,
Yeah,
they go
or they're
out
just
and then
full
they
of
come
shit.
back
Right.
and they go, you know
or they
what?
just don't remember it right.
I remember I did give this to my nephew Jimmy for 7
Right,
years back in
right.
the 70s, and when he
Yeah.
gave it back to me, it didn't look quite right.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what it was.
Right.
It's never been out of my house, but my son plays it all the time. And
Right.
Or they,
But it is
maybe
what
I
it
just
is, man.
maybe I just think people are inherently bad. But
Yeah.
do most of the time, do you think they're?
So here's the
You
thing.
think they know the deal the whole time?
I'm
They're
with
full
No,
of shit.
I don't think so.
No, I don't
I
think
think
so.
they absolutely they
No.
pass a lie detector test.
Yep.
They believe that
I agree
that
with you.
they're the
I agree with you
that they are
100%.
correct.
And I'll tell you this, any kind of negativity that we get from customers that you have to almost be a therapist for, or whatever it might be, I never ever blame the customer. I never blame the person. Why? Because this industry sucks.
Right.
The representation sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what it is. What, I'm sorry, have you been hosed by a vintage guitar in the past?
Right.
Purchased? Have you been hosed by a repair guy in the past?
Right.
Did you get all your parts back after that
Right.
pickup install?
Right.
This is the back foot that they come in on. So I
Yeah.
get it. Why would they look at us any
Yeah.
differently? I get it. I get
No,
it,
I
man.
get it.
And there's no defending that.
No.
By the way, you know, I'm downstairs and I'm being as straight as I can with somebody, and some people, they come in, you know, I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler. You know, they already know that. You know what I'm saying?
That's the best line so far.
Oh, I'm laying over this muffler.
But they're convinced that I'm being truthful until, but I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something. They just haven't figured out what it is yet. But
Okay.
in fact, I'm trying to be as you know.
How many out of 10 people that don't know shit about guitars that happen to luck into having a vintage guitar, maybe some relative had or
Lots
something, right? You get tons of those, I would imagine. How many out of 10 are disappointed by the appraisal value?
Probably 80%,
80%,
75%.
and it
80%.
usually starts with starts
80%.
with this belonged to X, Y, and Z. I would never sell it.
Mhm.
Just I'm getting this appraised for insurance values or
Right.
whatever it might be. You'd be surprised how the tune changes with regards to a certain dollar sum. It's funny, like, you know, it's like,
I
oh
would
man, I
never
get it.
sell it. How
I
much?
get it, bro. Yeah, 22. Yeah, 22 G's, huh? What's your consignment rate?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Well, Dad would have wanted me to do this.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Maybe
too.
Or you got- or you
put
got-
the kids through college.
But you get George's line, you know, you got 3 kids, well, you can't split a guitar 3 ways, but you can split a check 3 ways.
That's right, buddy.
Hey, boss.
Come on, George.
Hey, George.
That's all.
Write 3 checks.
You could write 3 checks, make it even easier, right?
Yeah. George, you want a coldie?
Hey,
You want a coldie?
we're pulling right in.
Sit down, man. Get a chair.
You sit here, man.
I got a question for you. You know how we always dream up crazy questions for you?
Come on, George.
No, I'm gonna sit in the dragon chair.
Do you remember?
Jimmy Page
I know.
loves this chair.
Do you remember? We don't have. What time is it now? We
Let's
don't
hear
have
it.
time.
We're good.
It's
3:09.
10 after
3:09. We'll make it
We
real
got
quick.
10
Yeah.
minutes.
10
We
minutes.
got
Yep.
10 minutes. We got 10 minutes. Keep this brief. Do you remember a couple weeks ago? You probably don't remember this, but we were sitting out in that room, and Vince Gill was with us, and we were sitting there chatting, just the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Remember that? I remember asking you some crazy party tricks about, you know, how you do all the measurements. You know the measurements of all the guitars. You can name any guitar. You know all the measurements.
I don't know.
Yeah,
all,
you
but-
go, yeah. And then I said, is there anyone else that you know that could equal your knowledge of that shit?
Well, I think that there are people who know more about certain specific things than I do. Certainly there are folks who know more about Fender than I do.
Right.
Lynn
About Martin?
upstairs would know more. On Martin,
Martin flat tops.
well, I think that some folks at least will know more maybe about specific measurements internally on dreadnoughts. But overall, for the Martin range, I don't know of anybody who's going to do better.
I was mentioning some names to Tom earlier about some folks that have tremendous respect in the business as well, and one of the folks I mentioned was Oster, Fred Oster.
Yes.
You know, he's got a name in the business, and he's been doing this for a really long
He's
time.
very much into the violins.
Yeah.
If anything, even more than he is on the guitars.
True, but he knows his Martins.
Yes, he
As
knows
well,
Martins quite well.
What was that crazy Martin you showed me the other day? One of the first ones ever made.
Amazing guitar.
Downstairs,
No.
That
no.
super pearly one, the one of one.
The one you've had for
1800s.
a long time.
well, I have several that have had a long time,
Yeah.
really early, that are
Yeah.
over at the Frist right
Okay.
now. We have an 1836 and an 1842. We also just have here, it's downstairs in a display case, an 1852 that's the most elaborate Martin
That's the one you showed me.
made in the lifetime.
That's the Renaissance.
Now, that one I
model.
had a
That's
long
crazy.
time ago.
That's
Right.
beautiful.
You bought it back.
And I got it back recently. I've been
Crazy.
trying for 40 years to get it back.
Right.
Finally, the owner died, and I
Right.
got it back.
You outlived them, George.
Yeah.
You just outlived them, brother.
Did it stay with the person that you sold it to originally? Did it
Well,
change
I
hands in
sold
between?
it once to Steve Howe with the group.
Okay.
Yes, he traded it back. Then I sold it to the other guy and it stayed with him. till he died.
Wow.
And-
Steve Hackett.
But
Oh,
yeah.
poor Steve Hackett. Don't do that.
Trevor
great Trevor, yeah.
My great uncle Otto lived to be 105. He didn't retire.
Okay,
His sister Emma only made it to 102.
all right.
Damn.
But
Imagine if your Uncle Otto had a guitar collection.
Oh, dude.
well,
You got it? There you go. Fucking 104? All right, shit. All right, one day, man.
I think the thing about
I'm
Otto,
gonna change my diet.
Otto,
You ever thought about smoking?
Otto is proof that you can't take it with you.
Okay.
Because he did make his money in the stock market, but when his wife didn't have his genetics, and right around 1949 or 50, they were both close to 80.
Oh.
He lived into the mid 70s, but in 1970s.
Yeah.
But she said, Otto, I can't get up, I can't do anything, I'm stuck here in bed, I can't even walk, but you know, I need something to help pass the time of day. Get me a TV. And well, in 1949, a TV stood about 5 feet tall, had a screen that was 6 inches in diameter, circular, and cost $500, which is like 10 grand today.
Yeah.
And now he had made his money in the stock market back in the early 30s.
Oof.
He put all his money into the stock market,
Wow.
and it was at the bottom. He bought Ford, Chrysler, General Motors, AT&T, some General Electric stock.
Post-depression.
Man, if we
He said
had a time
that
machine.
those, according to my father, he said, Otto said those, if they go under, I'll have lost everything anyway, because the country will be cooked if they go
Oh,
under.
yeah.
So he put it all in that, and he made $5 million after.
Nice.
Damn, Otto.
Back then,
How many guitars have you sold to Steve Howe? He's my all-time idol.
Steve Howe, I think, certainly close to 100.
Damn.
But that's over a period of years and nothing recent.
You know,
There's a number of people I
Most
sold a
influ-
lot
most
of guitars
influential
to
guitar
who haven't
player.
bought
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
in the last 20 years.
yeah,
Like Billy Gibbons, does he buy anything now for me? No.
he goes Carter's.
No,
Just
no.
kidding.
Stop it, bro. Stop it, man. Oh, man.
Rick
I'm
Nielsen.
kidding. Come
He doesn't buy
on.
anything for me anymore. Rick Nielsen bought over 100. Marcel Dadi bought over 100. And you know why he stopped? He died in a plane crash.
Oh man.
But the others, they're still around and they don't buy anymore. Some of these guys talk about selling, but even Billy's not really selling anything now.
All right.
For a while he was thinking about it, he's not selling now.
Right.
But at any rate, Otto's comment to his wife,
Oh, yeah.
putting it in context since he had a net worth of about $5 million at the time, he says, you're not going to last long enough to get good use out of it.
Ooh.
And she died with no TV.
Oh.
But when Otto died, the immediate family inherited money, lots of it.
And they bought a TV.
Yeah.
Well, they could buy more than TVs at that point.
Wow.
You know, $500 was a lot of money in 1949, but not compared to what he had.
Wow.
But no, you're not going to last long enough to get good use out of it.
Oh damn.
Imagine.
All right.
Now,
Last
his
question.
sister Emma,
I got.
Yeah, yeah.
she also invested in the stock market, the one who lived to be 102.
God
Yeah.
damn.
And when she was 88 years old, she fell off a ladder helping her sister Hattie wash walls. And she broke a hip, and they didn't operate on her because they thought she was too fragile. And people, even now, if they break a hip, they don't last long.
Right.
And they said, you're not going to last long enough to get good use out of it.
Damn.
But she fooled them. She got, at 93, she was still there, but she couldn't walk well. She had a walker, she could hardly get around. But she was in a nursing home that she damn near afford to buy because she was as good an investor as he was.
Wow.
Oh.
My father had her flown to Chicago. They did a hip replacement on it when she was 93 years old.
God
She
damn.
lived to be 102.
Good Lord.
She got good use out of it.
Good use.
And she figured out, unlike Otto, that you can't take it with you. And back then she could give relatives $10,000 a year tax-free.
That's free.
That
And she
explains,
did.
explains a lot, George.
And she even gave me $1,000 a year. She was my
Good for you.
great aunt.
Good for you.
I wrote her letters every month after that.
Yeah, you did.
She got lots of letters and calls. She was no longer bored and lonely at the nursing home because now people paid attention to
Because
her.
now George is there.
She had it figured out.
What were we gonna say? Tom?
All right. Only because I'm in a hurry.
Yep.
I would love to sit here
Yeah.
all day. You know, I don't want to end this on a depressing note because that's what I do. We've had record months since COVID's began. Would you agree?
We've had some very good
Record
times.
months. Do you feel a change in the air right now?
August has always been a weird month, but frankly, this year, every month this year, we've been going at a record volume pace. August started real strong for us, and we will probably still have a record volume for August. But I am always cautious about thinking that things don't ever change, or that things are always on an upward trajectory.
Or
If
always
things
cyclical.
are going too fast with prices rising, you can get the point where the only people buying are speculators.
Right.
Now, I don't think the market's been taken over by speculators now to the extent that it had been in the period of 2002 through 2007.
Tommy.
Amazing.
That's typical me. It's a character.
Fucking right in the middle of the video.
But I think
What's up, Joe?
What are you mad about?
what happens
That was funny as shit.
is
Come on.
that that's less distracting than letting it ring and
Yeah.
ring. What happens is that there's three types of buyers. Utility tool users, they keep it. They're not collectors, but they want one to play. They generally don't pay over $10,000 for anything, no matter how good it is. There's collectors, they go a lot higher than utility tool users, but they get to a point where the price gets up so high that it costs more than their house to buy the guitar. They can no longer afford to be a collector. But there's speculators, they see the prices here, they see it's done that, they project that, they're over optimistic. They don't stop to see that past point X that nobody is buying except speculators. So, if this table is a 3,000-foot drop, the utility tool users get about this far, they stop. The collectors go here, they see the edge of the cliff because this is that they can't afford it anymore. They drop out. But the speculators, all they see is that. They keep going, but they don't realize that from this point on, the profit is out here on thin air, and they're the
Good analogy.
beep beep, the road runner.
Right. Good analogy.
And
Yep.
do I see it that way now, the way it was then? Because I was saying even back in 2006 that this is not sustainable.
Mhm.
Is it to that way now? The answer, in my opinion, is no, it's not. It is actually still more based in the reality of what people who want to keep one are willing to pay. When you start seeing prices that are strictly speculators who are buying it only to flip it, when all they're doing is number crunching and saying that, oh, it's been the best investment I've ever made and I'm going to keep it for a year and a half and flip it.
Right.
Those are the people, if they take over the market to the point where the true collectors have dropped out, the utility tool users, they drop out way sooner than the collectors do. And frankly, when they drop out, I don't care.
Right.
Because they're the same ones who mutilate instruments and don't take good care of them.
Right.
But the collectors will take them and care for them. If the collectors drop out, that's a big danger sign for me. Because if the prices keep going up after the collectors drop out, there will be a correction, and it will take 1.5 to 2 years before the Roadrunner goes beep beep, and it will go correcting back to what people who intended to keep one had been willing to pay.
Here's what
I don't see it as being in that complete danger zone now.
No, I don't think so either. Here's what I think is because I've heard this conversation is pretty big, and it goes on with, I think it goes on with regards to the economy. So everyone talks about, is there going to be an economic
Recession.
recession or a change or inflation where it's at? There has to be a correction made coming out after COVID. There has to be something that lays down and kind of just, all right, now this is the norm. This is what we figure is the norm.
Right.
That I think will happen. But I think something happened during COVID that I want to make mention of. And folks like you put out your homeschooling program during COVID.
Yeah.
You're not the only one.
Right.
I think a lot of people have decided that with regards to COVID, you don't know what the future looks like. There's probably 50% more players out there today
Right.
than there were prior to COVID.
Right.
So
Wow. I never thought of that.
yeah, I mean, think about it. Everyone that says, well, now I'm home and I bought, how many times have you heard, now I'm home, I bought a guitar through COVID. I bought a guitar during, I never had one, figured I'd pull the trigger on it now. So when that correction happens, it's cool, but how it goes into the guitar market will not be felt by much, in my opinion, because that pool became so much bigger over the course of the last 3 years that now you have investors taking up market space, you have collectors, you have average folks that have a collection as an alternative to your 401k. Vintage instruments became investments that you
There's
can almost
something
count on.
else going on in addition, and that is a huge demographic shift that is very, very, very much in favor of the guitar market continuing. Baby boomers born 1946 through 1964. That's too broad a category. The ones born from 46 through 56, most of them have dropped out. They're downsizing, or I'm dealing with their executors. I was born 45, but I'm rooting for being like Otto. I have no intention of dropping out. I'm still actively collecting. But the ones that were born from 57 through 64, they're still buying. The children of the baby boomers, Generation X, bought mainly heavy metal guitars, and they didn't buy very many. It didn't help Martin, Fender, Gibson, Gretsch, Guild, whatever.
But they were awesome.
That was a tough time. But
Facts.
right now, the
Thanks.
millennials,
Yeah,
people who were born around 1980, who came of age at the millennium, they like guitars. And now they are doing what the baby boomers did when the baby boomers had their midlife crisis starting around 85. They bought little red sports cars, tennis and racquetball equipment, guitars, and other toys. And you know what? The millennials are doing that now. And the children of the millennials, unlike the children of the baby boomers, like guitars, and they are buying guitars. And there's another thing. There's a market segment that was 2 to 3% of my market for most of my career, that now in folk and bluegrass is getting on up close to 20%.
Right.
And in rock, it's maybe 15%, and in classical guitar, it's 50%. Who are they?
Wow.
That didn't used to buy but 2% of guitars and now are taking a much more active role. Who are they? Big market segment, it's half the population. Who would they be?
Right. I don't know.
Women.
Women?
They're buying.
Great.
Wow.
But you're getting younger baby boomers are still buying, millennials are buying, children of millennials are buying, and women are buying.
Crazy.
I've never in my career had 4 demographic groups doing that.
That's it.
All
Which adds to the
coming
pool.
together at
Which
the
adds to
same
the
time.
pool that I'm making mention
And the
of.
fact is, yes, it happened during COVID, and it doesn't have a bleeping thing to do with COVID. It's
Wow.
coincidental.
Agreed.
There's a lot of things that coincidence and causation are not the same.
Right.
I was born August 21st, 1945, 2 weeks after World War II ended. You know why? I reached out from within the womb and I made them stop because they knew it was happening. I didn't want that.
It was a cold winter that night. It was a cold winter, the winter of 45.
I arranged it. I had them hurry up and do it.
I have to help. We have to go. I have to go pick up my kids.
Take care,
I
guys.
have to go. Love you
Thank
guys.
Tommy.
Yeah,
Homeschoolers.
that's coincidence.
Hit it, dog.
Next time.